There are a number of foundational philosophers for this particular view that I expounded under the term physiodicy, because physiodicy is just it's belief in science, and that science is really the only way, but it includes all the sciences of man that have ever been developed that can show a scientific procedure or method. So everything that a modern hospital utilizes today, everything that doctors use, and so on, those are all elements of the Paracelsian religion, because they are things that are subject to experimental study and confirmation by that method, by the experimental method. But there are some philosophers that were the first to kind of conceive of this way of looking at the world. Baruch Spinoza was one, and Strauss Spinoza's Critique of Religion is a central text in developing the sources for this religion, because Strauss there reveals the elements in his opening chapters on Isaac La Pereire and Uriel de Costa. He develops the sources that he finds this kind of this religion, this incipient anti-religion, if you will, because it's really against the traditional religion, which Strauss believes in that text. He puts forward the belief that the traditional religion seeks to give man this very thing, to cure human disease and to ultimately make him immortal. But in his suggestion, in one of the two philosophers that opens his study on Spinoza's Critique of Religion, he suggests that it could be that in the past, man had been born with a much longer lifespan, and also that it's possible eventually to work up to the point with scientific knowledge where man will be able to have those longer lifetimes that he originally had, and that he's now lost due to nature changing and evolving in a way that man can't avoid death and disease. But the idea is to avoid death and disease. That's the fundamental quest, and it's something that that's why they turn to religions. That's why they turn to religion out of despair, because this life entails disease and death for us, and so long as it does, we have a sufficient motive for using some means to overcome those things. And so the idea is, what do you do? Do you turn to the traditional religions, or do you seek in another way to actually accomplish what in those original religions people were seeking? Because it's many times out of weakness and out of awareness of how precarious the life of man is in nature, that people in despair, they turn to something like Christianity, because they have fear. It's fear of death. Fear of death is one of the major motives for people turning to religion, and I'd never use it as a reason to say that Christianity is not the true religion. It's just that Strauss had noted in Spinoza's Critique of Religion that people do that, but they don't realize that there's another means that's possible that they might use too, and that they might have even more. It might bolster their faith even more, because they don't have to have pure faith. You don't have to have pure faith in science, because many things in science are confirmed. See? So you don't have it's not something that requires pure faith. It is something that satisfies both the understanding, and you can have faith that there will be further development in the sciences, and that this kind of goal of physiodicy and the progressive justification of man and nature by nature is something that can be attained.